The Mesquite Redevelopment Agency was created to fund business in the blighted area of tax districts 902 and 903, mainly to include Mesquite Boulevard. In 2009, a bond was issued for $13.9 million. $9.5 million was used to pay for the new police department, and $1.7 million was used to buy the library lots on Mesquite Boulevard. What is your opinion on why redevelopment money was spent on public works and was not used to stimulate business growth? And with only $1.75 million left, how do you think that should be spent?
Well, obviously those two purchases were before I was part of the council. It was part of another administration. Would I have voted for either one of those items? Well, the first one I certainly would have had to recuse myself for because my company sold the building. And the second one, on the land purchase, it was just part of my tenure on council where the real estate company was designated by some convoluted manner in which the broker that represented the seller was chosen. So I was not part of that. There are 5 individual districts in the redevelopment area now, and I believe there is just short of $3 million remaining in the fund. I'm not sure. I think the 1.7 may be a little short.
I got that figure today.
Okay, well, I thought it was a little larger than that. I've always been of the opinion that it should be for redevelopment as labeled versus new development.
Mm-hmm.
However, to piecemeal that out in small portions for individual properties or those blighted properties or whatever we call those on Mesquite Boulevard, and I think that's what the question probably alludes to.
Mm-hmm.
Without cooperation of the property owners and without some sort of return on that money, I'm not sure it would really work from a city standpoint investing. So it's got to come from more than the city. It's got to come from property owners and individual property owners and those people that are in need, if I might, of that money. But to piecemeal it off, I don't think would be really beneficial. I'm sorry.
The $1.75 million left, how do you think it should be spent?
Again, I don't think it should be piecemealed off. I think if there was a major project that would take $1 million or $750,000 or a larger number that would significantly give the city a return on that money, I think it would be much more beneficial than giving it out in increments of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 or whatever we were going to give that property on the corner of Sand Hill and Mesquite Boulevard. That was going to get us no return, and it was going to create a real can of worms. So if it was a major project that was going to take a substantial portion of that 1.7 or whatever it is, and we would get a considerable return on it, I would vote for that. But to piecemeal it off, I don't think it's going to do us any good.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the question because for the audience's sake,
Okay.
It's a long one and I want to be sure they understand. The Mesquite Redevelopment Agency was created to fund business in the blighted area of tax districts 902 and 903, mainly to include Mesquite Boulevard. In 2009, a bond was issued for $13.9 million. $9.5 million was used to pay for the new police department, and $1.7 million was used to buy the library lots on Mesquite Boulevard, and those lots are where the carnival is right now. What is your opinion on why redevelopment money was spent on public works and not used to stimulate business growth? And with only $1.75 million left, how do you think that should be spent?
Well, that bond was issued and that projects were started before we sold the newspaper. We sold the newspaper in June of that year. And we railed against both of those projects, the library land. I think most of us, no disrespect to ex-councilman Ince, but that's how he got that nickname. And we think it was misused, and we think that maybe the old hillside location could have been upgraded instead of them building the new one. It was in print, so if you want to go check how I felt about it, I'm saying it now, but I'll say it again. We were against it, and that money that's there now, part of the problem was, if you look, there have been a couple of projects that actually got some benefit out of it. The general store, I think they got 25,000, I don't know the numbers, but she was one of the few people that actually did the research and went down and got the information and had the matching funds and everything. You know, not everybody qualifies for those things. It'd be nice if we could. I mean, I'd love to say, oh, let's take that 1.75 and just go clean everything up. Paint it the way we like it. Make it look pretty. Yeah, but maybe the people that own the property wouldn't like the way we painted it. You know, we've had symposiums on public art. We've had it on a lot of things that I think it could be used to improve those areas. But we have to approach it the right way. We have to go through all the proper channels. And we can't just go bulldoze somebody's house and put up what we want because it's on their property. Did that answer both questions?
Do you want me to read it again? I
No,
can't.
that's
I mean,
okay.
I know it's a long question.
It's okay. You know, the RDA money, from what I understand, was for people who came in on the RDA choice when it first came out. And those people that joined that got the opportunities and still have the opportunities to use that money to better things. The general store is a great use of what the money was. The police department, I wasn't a part of that. I've been out there. I think it's a great thing for our police department. I think they're using it. I'm not sure that we should have spent that much money for it. With the library property, my understanding there again was that the city believed that the library was going to build a new library sooner than later. And I think that their idea, that is on Mesquite Boulevard, would have improved what's there. Fortunately, the library has gotten some improvements, and it's a great library. Future money, I also know that the money that can be used in other areas is supposed to be for the greater, I believe it's the greater improvement of the whole economy or the whole community. And those are good things. And so, you know, I think in some ways the police department falls under that. But I would like to see it used more for what's there now, and that those people take advantage of it and apply for those and that money to use.
Well, the bond issue was 13.9, and you accounted for about 11.2. That leaves about 2.7, of which we know some has been spent.
Yes.
And it's interesting to note that this number is jumping around. So, you know, approximately 3. You said 175. Andy Barton said around 2.5 million just last Thursday. That number should be pretty precise. I don't think we should have such a range on how much money we have.
I will tell you that I got it from the city.
Okay.
So
I'm surprised that Andy, I don't know where Andy's 2.5 came from, but again,
yeah,
we've got a fund for that. It should be specific. What's the fund balance? I don't think we should have that range. Now, I know the police station is somewhat of a Taj Mahal up there, and it's certainly going to last us well down the road, but I can't, whether that was a proper use of the funds or not, again, I wasn't here either. The library lot, I understand, just as has been briefly explained, why that was done. I would keep the remaining funds, whatever they are, and earmark for exactly what the bond issue said. Otherwise, you're violating the trust of the citizens that approved the bond issue. Now, I'm wondering, were there some situations when the police station was being built that people said, that's a violation of the trust that we had when we authorized those bonds? So that concerns me from a past standpoint.